Okay, now let's see what is about OpenSSL and SSL and TLS as protocols. Yeah, so there might be cases when you speak to web application or mobile application developers and they insist on that using SSL to protect the network traffic is enough to be sure that the communication is protected. Now I will show you um, how to break this assumption because basically that's not what happens. SSL, a few words about SSL and TLS. So that is the framework of crypto protocols that can be used in order to encrypt basically anything. Data at rest, data at transmission, any data. And for the sake of web protection and the web service protection, it is called HTTPS. So this is like an extension of HTTP protocol that uses SSL to protect the communication at the session level. So there is a session, and within it, everything goes as it normally does via HTTP, but it is like tunneled through an additional layer of crypto protection. So how this protection is established? There is a notion of trust. Yeah, so there is a certificate that the server generates for itself and signs it by someone else, by a certification authority that is in turn trusted by the client or all the clients possible. Yeah, so the client goes to the server and the server presents the client its certificate, and the client should somehow verify it and accept or reject it. If it accepts it, everything goes smoothly and the communication starts. If it rejects it, everything basically stops at this point and no communication is going on. So what is our goal in this situation? So given that there is some point of trust, we have to somehow manipulate, social engineer, or remotely hack the client side and install our certificate on it, yeah, in order for the client to explicitly trust everything we sign with this certificate, right? Or if we actually can control the client side, what we normally do when we do application penetration tests, we just install it manually and then have access to all the traffic generated by the client application. You see, this is pretty simple. So, yeah, I'm kidding. Unfortunately, this SSL infrastructure is quite a mess right now, and the large internet giants are basically trying to figure out what to do next. Yeah, so what we can do in this situation, we can just leverage what's going on, leverage the mess, and increase the security of applications without reliance on SSL by itself. Yeah, so let me show you how to start any traffic revision. Yeah, any dynamic application security assessment that should have access to the traffic generated by the client. Yeah, and the traffic that is going on between the client and the server. So normally there is some SSL wrapping for that, but we can unwrap it very easily by installing our certificate to the client and then running a web application or a mobile app and see what's going on. So let's say we have this Windows host as normal, and we have Burp Suite free edition, which will be quite enough for now. Later in web application section I will definitely show you the commercial version, but here you have to know that there are some certain rate limits for the tools here in the free edition, and the scanner basically doesn't work. You have to buy a license for that. So we will use only proxy for now. It intercepts everything by default, and let's configure it to accept connections not only on the local interface but also on port 8082 of the external interface. Yeah, so we will allow connections to that port, and now we have some HTTP daemon that is the proxy that is running on our external IP, and here we will have the packets going through us. Yeah, so what's going on? We generate a packet, we generate a session, it comes to Burp. Burp uses its SSL magic to generate a dynamically generate a unique certificate for that specific host that the client is trying to reach. Yeah, gives it to the client. Client has to accept it explicitly, or it should be signed by something that the client has already accepted as a root or intermediate certification authority certificate. You see, everything is really clear and easy here. Yeah, and then everything is going on smoothly, because once we unwrap this session, we just modify the packets, or just trace them, just observe them, sniff basically. Yeah, and then wrap them up again into SSL session that we generate to the actual server. Yeah, so this is the classical man in the middle, but in terms of HTTPS, protected by SSL/TLS. Okay, so let's see what we need to do on the client side. On the client side, we definitely need to configure the proxy. Yeah. Basically, that's the first time I see the proxy configuration window in Windows 10, and it didn't change much since Windows XP. Yeah, this is our port and our host. Let's see what happens. We added it up. Now, let's open this new thing, Edge browser. I'm not very familiar with, so sorry for maybe some slow reaction to its unique behavior. Yeah, let's go to Google. And what we see, let's sort it like this to see a new request first. So we have some requests. Give me the root of your HTTP server. And everything stops. Why? Because intercept doesn't let it through. Let's forward all the requests. Yeah, and see that everything has loaded up. This is the homepage of Google for Ukraine. Sorry for that. Let's switch to English for your convenience, and let's turn intercept off. So everything will just pass through without any interception. Okay, so here we are. You see, a lot of things is going on. Yeah, a lot of stuff is passed through, and we can access every request and response. And moreover, we can intercept it and change and then see what happens. So this is the really strong tool in your toolkit. Burp Suite is, by all accounts, the best investment you can make into your application security career. Whatever you do, application security assessments, bug bounties, whatever. Basically, if it has to deal with applications, mobile web applications, web services, whatever, you will need Burp. You will need a lot of different plugins and extensions you can install. Yeah, so this is not the only tools that are available. There are others, and you can write your own really extensible thing. So now let's see why we have been so quick, yeah, to accept that. So you see that everything works smoothly, but just because we already have this Burp Suite certification authority installed. Burp Suite, of course, is the developer of Burp Suite, and I have it installed in my trusted certificate store already. Let's remove it and see what happens. So there is this MMC for certificates. Come on. Oh yeah. So trusted root certification authorities. Do we have Burp Suite here? Of course we do. Otherwise, what would happen? What would have happened without it? We wouldn't be able to connect here, right? You see, we can accept it explicitly at this point. We still can do that, and there will be this error. Okay, but for it to disappear, we have to go to the actual proxy server, right? 82. See this neat web page, download the certificate, yeah. Open it and install for a local machine. Of course, I trust you. To this trusted root certificate authority store. Okay. Next, finish. We're done. Everything will be possible to sniff. Okay. Let's close it and let's try it again. What's happening? Website problem. Come on. I didn't do it for nothing. Okay, so now you see that it's already trusted, and the error disappeared. Okay, so now, for example, we start by typing something into search string in the search bar, and you already see that there is a lot of things going on as you type. Yeah, so every letter you type in is reflected in some background communication to the service. So something is already trying to autocomplete or to fetch some very popular searches that start from those letters and so on. So as you see, everything is absolutely feasible regarding SSL so-called protection, yeah, as long as you have access to the client side. If you can manage the client side, the operating system of it, and put a certificate that you have specifically crafted for that matter, yeah, into a trusted certificate store, everything works smoothly. So next time a web application developer tells you that SSL resolves all the problems, show them how it doesn't. Okay, so you have to think about it, you have to put it as a security control, but into your security architecture, but you should not over rely on it because it's not worth it. Let me give you a good example. There are web applications or mobile applications that obscure their source code and over rely on SSL in these terms. So once it's on the client side, it starts up, it deobfuscates the source code, and there is some static configuration information, not login passwords, but say an API key, which is static and unique and the same throughout all the installations of mobile application, for example. And you cannot get it easily from reverse engineering the app itself, but you can install a certificate in the operating system, your Android OS on your device or in a virtual machine, whatever, and then install. Of course, I will restart, but later. And afterwards, you just install the mobile app, and it trusts its environment. Yeah. So going down to the operating system, the trust is already established, and it will use its certificate store to verify what's going on the network, and it will try to establish connection to its web service, but you will be the proxy, and it will go through you, and you will see all this API configuration information, and will be able to act as you have access to all installation of this mobile application in the world. Okay, so this one thing that can happen. There are ways to try to circumvent that. For example, to pin the certificate, to let them be verified not only by the certification authorities by some other means, but still there are ways to circumvent that as well by playing around with the installation of the mobile application. So it is really a cat and mouse game, and the developers are the mice, unfortunately. Again, this game is prevalent in the security industry. So this is the case where you have to think twice before you rely on encryption of your communications. So I think that's it. Enough scary tales for now. See you around in the next video.